Super
Bot,
Super
Scott,
Super
Rat. Wait a minute. Once upon a time, there was a man named, Piotr, sorry dude. Once upon a time, there was a team of super developers from Poland, known as the SUPERHOT team, that made a
Super
first-person shooter that goes by the name Super Squat. A game so epic and extreme, it makes most shooters look like they were made for babies. So I asked myself, how did this indie team make something that's better than every AAA game ever made? And when I didn't know the answer to my own question, I turned to my favorite, most trustworthy, unbiased search engine, Google. And that brought me to another very reliable website called Wikipedia. And after I declined to donate to Wikipedia, a website I've used regularly for years entirely for free, this is what I learned. It all started way back in the prehistoric era during the year 2013, when the SUPERHOT team entered in the 7-day FPS challenge. For this challenge, they created a first-person shooter with a minimalist art style. All enemies are red, and all weapons are black, in contrast to everything else in the entire game, which is white and gray. Genius. If the art style alone wasn't big brain enough, they had one more brilliant idea to take this game from excellent to super excellent. An idea so groundbreaking, reality-shattering, it makes Einstein look like he had the intelligence of a small chicken. Time moves when you move. What these guys created in those 7 days laid the foundation for what was to come. And later that year, they released 5 levels as a browser game. This is known as the SUPERHOT prototype. It was also submitted through the Steam greenlight process and got approved for distribution by Valve in just 5 days, making it the fastest game to be approved through greenlight at that time. This was no surprise to the development team. They knew they had a masterpiece on their hands. Around this time, there was an attempt to start a Kickstarter campaign, but Kickstarter did not do business in Poland yet. But this gave the team more time to work on what they could, spread word, and build hype for the game. Eventually, Kickstarter allowed fundraisers in Poland, and in May of 2014, the team launched a campaign to make SUPERHOT a full release. More levels, more weapons, more challenges, and a mind-bending story. The Kickstarter campaign reached its goal within the very first day of going live. Outstanding! The team attributed much of their success to the free browser game that let potential funders experience the game's concept for themselves. Another genius move! Genius! By the end of the Kickstarter campaign, there was over $230,000 pledged for the game. Holy shit! Now, with hundreds of thousands of dollars behind them, nothing could stop the SUPERHOT team. They kept on working, refining, and perfecting their craft. Enhance, zoom, analysis, write that down, scratch that, put it in a voice memo. I hate reading. Crunch that data. Get me more coffee. I need 10 copies by Monday. Click those keys, faster, not that fast. World Wide Web, quantum computing, ecosystem, industry, society, putting every last blood, sweat, and tear they had into this marvelous, dare I say, work of art. Then, on February 25th, 2016, the full official version of SUPERHOT was released on PC. A few months later, a version was released for Xbox One. And later that year, the team put out free DLC with new levels and a new gameplay feature. Free DLC? Free DLC? Man, these guys are good. Who does that? No one does that. Not to mention, there's not a single microtransaction in the entire game. A PS4 version soon followed, and eventually the Switch got one too. When the game came out, everyone loved it. There was dancing in the streets. People put aside their differences, whether it be political or cultural. And some folks even helped old ladies cross the street. It's crazy to think how one single video game can solve so many of humanity's problems. It just goes to show how important it is for developers to make high-quality gaming experiences. SUPERHOT went on to win tons of awards and sold incredibly well. The game's success allowed the team to create a project called SUPERHOT Presents, which helps fund other indie games. After the official launch in 2016, a VR version was released as well. SUPERHOT VR has its own unique levels designed for a VR experience. The VR version won plenty of awards itself and went on to be one of the best-selling VR games of all time. The Between the VR and the non-VR version, SUPERHOT sold over 2 million copies by 2019. A sequel called SUPERHOT Mind Control Delete came out on July 16th, 2020. Not only did they put out another instant classic, they gave out Mind Control Delete for free to the people who had already purchased the first game.
Yeah.
Just when you thought these people couldn't be any more super. The sequel introduced brand new levels with more abilities, gameplay mechanics, and roguelike features. It also manages to troll any player that finishes the game, which I find hilarious. Oh, and there's a SUPERHOT card game. I had no idea before doing all this research. So if you enjoyed this video, you're welcome. Why don't you subscribe and we'll call it even. In all seriousness though, SUPERHOT is one of my favorite games of all time. I 100%ed it, and I've put an embarrassing amount of time into it. So thank you to everyone involved in the making of this phenomenal game. I've gotten countless hours of enjoyment out of it, and I'm so grateful to have played it, and to continue playing it throughout the rest of my life. And yeah, thank you guys so much. Alright, that's all I got for this one. Thanks for watching, and have a wonderful day.